This is a bird's eye view using Google Earth explaining the assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump, which occurred July 13, 2024 at approximately 6:10 p.m. in Butler, Pennsylvania at the Butler Farm Show. This here is the property of the Butler Farm Show. Go down to Street View. You can see this is the entrance to Butler Farm Show. Exit Street View. Trump's stage was approximately right here. The shooter was 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Bethel Park is south. He lived in this neighborhood here, which is 43 miles away from the Butler Farm Show location. He was registered as a Republican, but donated money to Act Blue. Act Blue is an American political action committee and fundraising platform established for serving left-leaning and Democratic nonprofits and politicians. In 2021, he donated $15 to the organization. He lived in this neighborhood here. And this photo right here this is where that photo was taken right here. Exit Street View. He graduated from this high school here, Bethel Park High School, in 2022. It is said that he worked in the food service department at Bethel Park Skilled Nursing and Rehabilitation Center, right here. This area here. They said about 6 months before the shooting, he signed up to become a member of the Clairton's Sportsman's Club, a shooting club, right here. If you go down to Street View, you can see the club entrance here. Exit Street View. He drove to the Butler Farm Show area. And I'm making the assumption that he parked somewhere in here. He was seen walking around this general area here, and maybe here, but somewhere in here, and people who saw him thought he was behaving suspiciously. He eventually most likely made his way around to the front of this building here, up through here, walked in between them, and probably got up on the building somewhere in here. If you go down to parking lot view, possibly somewhere in here. You can see this is the building that he was on top of right here. Over here you can see the grounds. Trump was approximately here. And he had to get up on top of this building somewhere through here. Exit Street View. At about 6:02 p.m., Donald Trump walked out on stage to Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA then began speaking. Approximately 3 minutes later, about 6:05, dozens of spectators in this area here saw Thomas Crooks crawling on top of the building right over here. They alerted law enforcement. About 6:10 p.m., a local law enforcement officer went up the ladder in this area, somewhere in here, to see what this man was doing on the roof. When the officer looked over the top, it is said that Thomas Crooks pointed his rifle at the officer and the officer ducked. It was shortly after this that Thomas Crooks began firing his weapon. This is the location right here that he began firing his weapon from, the exact location right about here. The distance from here to Trump's location is about 156 yards, which is about 143 meters. He struck President Trump on the top of his right ear as President Trump was looking off to his right. There is a photo out there taken by the New York Times where you can see the bullet shortly after passing through Trump's ear. There were Secret Service sniper teams, one team here on the top corner of this roof here, and one team over here where this yellow circle is. One of these two teams neutralized Crooks just a few seconds after he opened fire. I'm not positive, but I think it was this crew right here. 3 men attending the rally were casualties. 50-year-old former fire chief Corey Comprator, who lived 17 miles away in Sarver, Pennsylvania, lost his life instantaneously after being struck by one of the suspect's bullets. He left behind a wife and 3 daughters. Corey was in the risers in this area, approximately right in here. There were risers behind the stage right about here. There were risers here at an angle, and there were risers over here at an angle. Corey was in the risers approximately right here. The other 2 victims who were seriously hurt were in the risers over here. They were 57-year-old David Dutch of New Kensington, Pennsylvania, and 74-year-old James Copenhaver of Moon Township, Pennsylvania. Crooks, neutralized over here on the roof, was not carrying ID, so he had to be identified through DNA. Law enforcement officials told the Associated Press that bomb-making materials were found inside the suspect's vehicle and inside his home. I'm making the assumption that the suspect's vehicle was parked somewhere in this parking lot. I don't know for sure. I'm just making that assumption. People who knew Thomas Crooks were shocked because he never seemed like the type of person who could do something like this. At this point, the FBI is trying to find a motive behind Thomas Crooks' assassination attempt. So there you have it, a brief description of the assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump right here on the Forrest Haggerty channel.